Wilbur, Monique Robinson, Eric Chilton, and Jalen Gilkey this afternoon.
You are watching 4 to 5 on air online on Fire Stick and Roku. I have to admit something I did today, guys. I accidentally left my car windows open when I went home last night. Fortunately, it wasn't raining. Fortunately, the temperature's been okay, so no interior damage. But have you all ever done that?
I have done that, and I'm terrified things will be missing.
Right, nothing was missing either. I mean, it was the perfect scenario.
It's the humidity damage I always worry about. I can't stand it if it's all wet and humid on the inside.
No creepy crawlies in your car, no spiders, no bugs.
Well, I haven't looked for those yet. I'll be doing that.
They'll find you.
Yeah.
We'll be checking in with Monique on that forecast in a little bit, but first we have a big story that we're following today. UNC Greensboro says homecoming will look different for the second year in a row.
At WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey is breaking down the changes and has reaction from alumni.
Well, after completely canceling last year's homecoming festivities, UNCG has announced that this year's events are strictly for current students. In a statement this morning, UNCG called it an exclusively student-centered event. The university didn't cancel any events, but organizers say they want to avoid creating a large crowd, considering the Delta variant is spreading. Today, I spoke with two Spartan alumni who were a bit bummed by the news.
Well, I do feel like, on one end, I feel like, okay, you could have maybe just confirmed our vaccinations, because I am vaccinated. I would have liked to come back and, partake in all the activities. I guess on the other hand, I do understand though, since UNCG was one of the first people to cancel homecoming last year when COVID was at its height. So I'm not surprised.
I wasn't really shocked. Like, I get it. I completely understand. Of course, not happy about it because it's been going on 2 years now. So like everyone else, was really looking forward to possibly being able to go back and see all my friends and other people we went to school with. But I mean, with everything that's going on right now in the times, you just gotta understand why they made a decision that they did.
UNCG homecoming is scheduled to begin on October 1st. If there are any more updates, we'll make sure to share them with you guys on air and online.
North Carolina A&T announced changes to its homecoming events and football games for this year. The parade, Aggie Fan Fest, and the annual Greek Cookout have been canceled. Fans will need to provide proof of vaccination against COVID-19 for homecoming concerts and all home football games of this year, or provide a negative COVID-19 test 3 days before the game. Children under 12 will also be required to get a test. 2 Randolph County schools will learn remotely for the 24th of this month. Until the 24th of this month, Southwestern Randolph Middle School and Eastern Randolph High School are dealing with staffing issues brought on by COVID-19. The middle school has a sign-up sheet for students needing to pick up meals each day, and the principal says sports will go on as long as student athletes aren't quarantined.
I want to give you a closer look at one of our local coronavirus metrics. This graph shows the percentage of tests coming back positive in Guilford County. Over the past month, this number has fluctuated between 7 and 15%. Remember, the county set a 5% goal, which is the red line here. County leaders want us to be at or below the line for 3 consecutive weeks. It's easy to see we are way off from that. We haven't even dipped below the line for one day since July 24th, nearly 2 months ago.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools has a new clear bag policy for school functions. The district is now requiring bags be clear for the safety of students, staff, and visitors. Here's a look at the approved bags. Clear bags, gallon-sized, clear plastic freezer bags, small clutches, medically needed items, and diaper bags. Purses bigger than a clutch, briefcases, backpacks, fanny packs, drawstring bags, luggage, and computer or camera bags will not be permitted.
Okay, so you're probably familiar with that long-standing battle over the Confederate monument removal that was in the city of Lexington. Well, this week there's an update to that issue. But first, we want to revisit the history of the case, including a lawsuit, you may remember. It was filed against the Davidson County Commissioners by the city of Lexington. It seemed the commissioners did not think the city had a case to remove the statue. I spoke with Lexington Mayor Newell Clark about this.
I think it's important that people realize that was offensive to our citizens, and we were receiving calls. And it wasn't something that just came about last year. This had been dialogue and discussion for years within the Lexington community, and even myself having dialogue with the commissioners on a possibility of a relocation. But what happened last summer, we had 144 straight days of protest. The size of the crowds continued to gather. It was at times there were weapons that were brought to the square. It was becoming a very dangerous situation, and we saw it as a public safety nuisance that needed to be abated. It was different if it would be located in a park. And if you choose to go and visit it, then that's up to you. But if it's prominent in the city square, in the city center, on Main Street, and it means something on an opposite side that's offensive or demeaning to you, and it was something that I've expressed before, we don't want anything like that in our community that makes a citizen feel less than. And if we can do something about that, we should work towards that, work together and take action, and we did. And with the commissioners not willing to move or relocate, unfortunately we had to kind of put a little more force behind that, and we did put a lawsuit in place in which we were asking for the abatement of this public nuisance, and that has been ongoing up until recently.
So now the United Daughters of the Confederacy actually own the statue. They have since raised enough money to move that to a tract of land that is privately owned. With that plan executed now, the Lexington city officials made a decision. This was in a closed session this past Monday night.
We've learned about that this week of its relocation. But it is that nuisance that we were pushing the commissioners on was no longer there, and it is now an open street that intimidating statue isn't there. So it made sense for us that we did not need to continue to press the county on that issue. So we instructed our legal counsel Monday to drop that.
We will keep you posted if we find out more about that statue's new home.
We can probably agree on this. If you were outside at any point standing in the heart of the sun, it was hot. I mean, earlier today I did just that and I started to sweat a bit. So, I mean, the heat is still here, y'all. The humidity is here too. The countdown to fall is really on though. We're now just 7 days away to that start date of September 22nd. That autumn equinox does mark then on September 22nd. Here's a look at high points. Specifically, you can see a few cumulus clouds in the skies, but overall not a wet day. But this afternoon or evening, we could see the possibility of some storms. Here's a look at the highs for today across the entire area. Some 80s for you. 88, it looks like there in Burlington. 86 in Winston-Salem. 84, though, in Greensboro. And that's really just because we have a little bit more cloud cover at the moment. But it doesn't take away from the fact that if you stand outside, it is hot out. If you're outside for a prolonged period of times, it still is really hot. Again, the radar dry. Few clouds you're kind of seeing on there via the satellite. When we zoom out to the wider view, there's a couple different features specifically that I've been keeping a close eye on as they get closer to us could bring in a little bit moisture to our area. We have Nicholas down to the deep south. We have an area of disturbance that's bringing more and more likely chances of development. Not expected to move inland, but still a case for concern in area to watch. But we also, a third feature, this cold front that's draping from the northeast all the way to right around the mid-Atlantic. So these three features could bring a little bit more moisture to the Carolinas and more specifically the Triad and make for a busier radar starting as early way late tonight and going into your Wednesday. So here's a look at those rain chances over at the least the next 12 hours, increasing overnight and more for tomorrow. More details to come up.
If you have a passion for fashion, you'll love to hear that Winston-Salem Fashion Week is back with its 7th annual showcase. The week-long showcase kicks off this Friday and runs through Saturday, September 25th. This year's theme is all about the 80s and 90s and will feature 10 designers. Winston-Salem Fashion Week CEO and creator Nikita Wallace says this is a multicultural event aiming to provide a platform for Triad business owners and designers, especially designers who dream of participating in bigger shows like New York Fashion Week or Paris.
And it's an opportunity to get them to get a feel of what it takes to be a part of the fashion industry. And it's an opportunity whether they want to stay local to build their brand or if they want to go global. And with technology today, we have the means to help these designers to go as far as they would like to go.
Several events will take place throughout the week, including a session that focuses on upcycling wardrobes and practicing sustainable fashion. This is the technique of using existing clothes to create new fashions. And then on September 25th, designers will participate in Goodwill's Diva Dapper on a Dime.
They're given a gift card where they're going to the retail stores and create collections. They can upcycle the collections as well as style the collections.
For ticket information and event locations, look for this story on our website. And there's lots of great designers that are going to be featured. I'm going to talk to one tomorrow that has a really inspirational story, and she's doing some great things to promote other artists in the downtown area and bring some jobs there as well.
Makes it sound, somehow I get this feeling that you like the fashion, because you asked us if we'd ever, Chad and I, during the break, had we ever thought about that. That means you probably have, I would guess.
I've thought about some things. I'm not the best designer, but I think back in middle school I did make a purse out of duct tape. And that would be considered like upcycling because it's an existing material. So what about you? Have you ever designed anything?
Heck no.
Yeah,
but I was one time when I used to live in Nebraska, I was a model for a fundraiser fashion show.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't have to do anything. I was just simply the I don't know, the body.
Can we see the walk?
I was gonna ask you.
Let's see the walk.
Come on, you didn't have.
I didn't have a walk.
You didn't do the turn. Don't they make you do the turn?
Yeah, let's see it.
Look. That is perfect.
Let's see yours.
That's great.
I know that they don't they go up and then they have to do the turn, the quick turn.
Yeah.
But sometimes you like throw your.
No,
like,
no, that's
you have
right.
to look back, or you have to look back, right?
I like the ads for men's clothes when they're doing a suit and they do this. What is this? Nobody ever stands like this, but they'll hold the one thing.
Yeah. Just so you can see the inside of the coat, I guess.
That's not what you see.
That's
I don't
crazy.
get it.
I do, you know what I do enjoy though? I enjoy that it doesn't take huge cities to put on a fashion.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
That's great.
And this is done on a grand scale, so if you're looking for something to do this weekend over the next couple of days, something you definitely want to look into.
Chad, I want you and I to design something and then show Lauren. We'll see how it
we
goes.
can put on our own fashion show here.
We'll do that.
I'd like to see that.
We'll discuss. We'll be right back.
Talk amongst
yourselves.
All right, so earlier I showed you the satellite and radar and pinpointed some key features that could bring in some moisture to our area. This map shows you a better visual. This is what's left of Nicholas. This is that disturbance with the high chance of development. And then this is the cold front. All of these systems, they really do a great job of pushing out ahead of them a lot of tropical type of air, which means greater humidity, as well as moisture. So that's what we're going to be feeling over the next couple of days, putting us in a very humid pocket. Now, this system expected to continue to stay offshore. The front drops a little bit further south, not quite reaching the triad, but fairly close, which will increase our rain chances starting as early as tomorrow morning, wee hours of your morning, and then scattered chances rounding out again for the afternoon. But here's a look at a futurecast kind of showing it all. You can see this is talking the really early hours of your Thursday morning, talking light rain chances. And then as we continue through your Thursday, can't rule out the possibility of another lingering shower or storm, but for the most part, we should just be mostly cloudy. And then as we go through your day on Friday, we may have some lingering scattered showers or storms, primarily in the afternoon. But when we look at the rainfall totals, we're not talking about a significant amount of rainfall at all, barely even a trace of rain in a lot of locations. Here's a look at that full 7-day. I've yet to show it, but here you have it. The number is not really screaming fall, still looking more like summer.
I want you to focus on this message. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. We might hold a grudge against someone thinking they don't deserve our forgiveness. In today's UDay, Coach Lamont explains why forgiveness is for us.
In 2017, my father passed away. I remember when I received the news, I was overcome with so many emotions: anger, resentment, sadness, regret. It seemed like all these emotions, they continued to rise to the surface one by one. It was like a roller coaster harboring unforgiveness in my heart towards him. I remember feeling confusion, not knowing which man to mourn for, the man he was or the man I had always hoped he would become. It was like the little boy on the inside of me continued to call out for a man that I had always longed to see. Why didn't he offer more of his life to me? This was the question that haunted me, but after prayer and reflection, I did find the strength to forgive. This is what I discovered. Many people can't offer much of themselves because they never developed a sense of understanding their own actions. We all do have people in our lives that we may have certain emotions towards, but in spite of it all, forgiving them of their wrongs is the best gift that we can give to ourselves.
That is a word. That is a message. Forgiving others. You know what that reminds me of? When, say you're upset about something, you're thinking all night, you're so angry at the person that wronged you, when they're sitting peacefully at home, probably not even thinking about you. So it's best to just forgive and move on, but not forget. But you can't hold on to those feelings because it'll stress you out.
And it just eats you away from the inside out. You know, my dad always said that anger doesn't solve anything. And that's one of those things they say when you get married, does it never go to bed angry? Because it just festers. You know, I think that's true with just general relationships. You got to go ahead and get rid of it, talk it out, and move on.
Yeah, forgiveness is an aspect of love, I feel like. Yeah. And so a lot of times when you forgive someone, you're actually even showing them, I love you so much and I'm going to forgive you and let this situation go. Now, I'm not going to forget, but I will forgive you.
I can't really add anything because I think you guys said it all so eloquently. So I'm just gonna, I don't know what to say. It can be hard though to forgive. And I would like to maybe hear from Blanca Cobb about this, you know, about different ways that you can help yourself forgive somebody. Because I think we could use some help sometimes depending on the situation.
And don't you think, I think time is the best healer, you know, I know it, but for some it's, you know, if you keep that too long in your heart, it does you more pain than it
makes
does
you bitter.
else. It does.
And one thing I've learned over time is sometimes you just have to have total acceptance and accept the fact that certain people that you felt have wronged you just don't have the tools to do better. Like, you know, they just don't have the tools to treat you or love you the way that you feel like you should be loved.
And sometimes you distance yourself from them a little bit, and then that's the buffer.
Yeah.
You know? Chad, you don't have a lot to say, so you can toss to the break.
Thank you. Thank you.
No!
We'll could do that.
We're on Facebook too. Did you know that? Hey, I can say that, Eric Chilton. Get out of here.
He said he didn't have a lot to say.
Think back to your school days. What subject did you think would be your future career? Did physics cross your mind? Well, for one phenomenal triad professional, it did. Unforgettable words from a high school physics teacher.
She said, major in physics, because if you get a degree in physics, then you can go on to do just about anything.
That teacher was right. Caroline Vanderstraten uses her blend of math and science knowledge daily. She's the clinical medical physicist at Cone Health Regional Medical's Cancer Center in Burlington.
Most of my day is actually with calibrating the linear accelerators and working on our brachytherapy implant program, where we actually implant radioactive materials either permanently or on a temporary basis for our cancer patients.
Vanderstraten took me to the spot where the magic happens.
The linear accelerators, that's where we essentially accelerate our electrons to 0.99 the speed of light, and then we hit them on a target and they turn into photons, and we direct those photons into the tumor cells for the patients.
I even hopped inside to see what the patient experience was like.
This is how a patient would feel, and the arms might come out, the imaging arms.
Vanderstraten says the goal is to treat the patient within 24 hours after being diagnosed if the patient wants. Tackling the cancer faster is the goal, but she says some days the job can get tough. No matter how tough it gets, she knows her skills are necessary here. But sometimes on our journey in life, we are faced with really big challenges that sometimes make us not want to move forward, and then something happens and it hits us and says, no, I still need to keep doing this. Did that ever happen to you?
Absolutely. My son passed away when he was 2 days old on my birthday, and it was a very challenging year. It was 2014. I was working at Cone Health at the time, and I remember thinking, what do I want to do from here? What do I want to do with my own life? And I really settled on there's no other choice for me but to help people.
A life-changing experience that keeps Vanderstraten pushing each day. Now she says she smiles when she hears her 4-year-old daughter say she wants to be a physicist like her mom one day. She also encourages other young girls to join the field.
There aren't a lot of people that look like us in the careers that we've chosen in science and math, so sometimes it's easy to feel like maybe we don't belong in this career. And so I just wanted to say that if anybody's thinking about a career like this and they don't see an example of themselves in the career, to just believe in yourself and surround yourself with people that also believe in you.
So when you did that interview, I was wondering, because that's an emotional moment when
Yeah.
she was telling you that. All of us, I know all of us as journalists, when you interview someone like that and you pull something big out of their life and it makes you look at your own life differently. And I'm wondering if you had any thoughts after doing that.
Yeah, when I ask a question, a lot of times we ask someone a question, we don't know what they're gonna say. So when she said that, I literally was just like frozen for a second, because I just didn't expect, you know, especially as strong as she was telling the story, you just think it's a lighthearted thing, she's gonna respond. And for a moment I just thought, you know, I spoke with her on my private experience, just telling her my mom previously had breast cancer, and so for her, as a physicist who works on cancer patients, I said to her, I appreciate and value that you didn't take that moment to deter you from going back into this field, because there's so many people, not just like my mother, but you know, we all know people who may have had breast cancer at one point or any form of cancer, where we need doctors and folks who are in positions like she is to be on the front line and help them.
Absolutely. That was a beautiful story, and I really, what resonated was your toss to the package about how a teacher inspired her, because I think a lot of times we need that encouragement. We might not have the confidence in ourselves, and when the people we look up to believe in us, then we will more likely, you know, go out and do those things.
Yeah, I love that she wants to be a role model for girls too. When girls look into the STEM program or science, if they don't see enough of themselves reflected in that, they may not want to do it, but she's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, and she has young girls now that look to her mom and say, Mommy, I want to be like you now, so it's so beautiful.
And this story is inspiring others out there.
Yes.
Awesome. We love it when Mo's on the go. We gotta go, but we'll be right back. Stay right there.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Hear me now? Can you hear me now? Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Mic check.
Hey, good afternoon to you. I am Chad Silver here with Lauren Coleman, Monique Robinson, Eric Chilton, and Jalen Gilkey this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're watching the 4 to 5. We are on air online, also on Fire Stick and Roku, and we're also on Facebook.
It's the largest cast in local television.
Let's give a hug.
Yeah,
Air
get away from
hug.
air hugs.
That's right.
Monique wants to give an air hug.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Do
say
it.
you're
Hold on my iPad.
That works. Oh, I love that. Should that be like our Wednesday thing? That's like what we do on
We should
Wednesdays?
do that.
Hug
Family
Wednesday.
time.
Air Hug Wednesday. I like
Yep.
it.
We wear pink
Write
on
that down.
Wednesdays
Somebody
and
write
we
it down.
air hug at the beginning of the newscast. Perfect.
That'll work.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. So let's get started. Amazon is looking to hire 400 workers in the Greensboro area. The average starting salary is $18 an hour. Benefits for full-time employees include health insurance, 401k, even college tuition for frontline employees. We've got more information on our website.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Harris Teeter is now operating under new store hours. A worker shortage is causing the store to cut back on its hours starting today. Doors open at 6 a.m. and now close at 9 p.m. A spokesperson for the grocery store chain says closing earlier will give staff time to clean the store properly and take time off when needed. The Winston-Salem City Council is expected to finalize plans on Monday on safety protocols for the Carolina Classic Fair. The plan currently covers mask guidance inside buildings, cleaning, and social distancing recommendations on rides. The Carolina Classic is encouraging people to be vaccinated, but they will be screening everyone as they go through, including employees. But Arbor Road will remain closed indefinitely, according to officials. City crews continue repairing a water line that broke 2 days ago, creating a sinkhole in the road. Crews repaired one pipe, but a second pipe still needs repairs, and the road is closed between Old Town Road and Silas Creek Parkway. Louisiana is getting hit once again by a tropical storm just a few weeks after Hurricane Ida tore through the state. Tropical Depression Nicholas is trekking slowly northeast into Louisiana, which is already seeing heavy rains from the storm. The state is preparing for 6 to 8 inches of rain. Louisiana's governor says nearly 95,000 customers are still without power 2 weeks after Hurricane Ida.
So the National Hurricane Center, in fact, stopped issuing advisories on Nicholas as of 11 a.m. this morning. But as of that latest update, the system was moving at 5 miles per hour. So when you have something just sitting over you for a very long period of time, you can expect flooding. Life-threatening flooding. Now, what you're seeing here on the tropical satellite in the remnants of Nicholas, what's left of it. You can see still very heavy rainfall, especially when we look towards the Florida panhandle there. But as we look at the rainfall totals with this system, particularly over the last 8 hours, my microphone popping there, I'm sorry about that, guys. Over the last 48 hours, you can see definitely heavy rainfall in southern Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi. Very high rainfall totals. The highest total I saw was roughly about 8 inches. But I mean, we've seen storm surge. I mean, this has been ongoing for the last several days. This is just a look at the last 48 hours. I talked about this system that's just off the southeastern coast with a very high chance of development. Now, it's expected to stay offshore, but elevated rip current risks are still very likely. Could be Odette or could be Peter. Maybe this system might be Odette. This one is a tropical wave that emerged off the west coast of Africa with also a high chance of development over the next 48 hours. These are the systems we need to watch over the next 10 days. I'll keep it updated for you here from 4 to 5.
A Seattle company is getting a lot of attention for what it's paying employees. Now, the CEO of Gravity Payments cut his own salary by $1 million in order to afford pay raises for every employee. Now they're all making a minimum of $70,000, including himself. He had to downsize by selling a second home. In the last 6 years, he says the company has tripled in size, mainly because of employee loyalty. I have a lot of questions about this story. One, wow, it's impressive that your salary was $1,070,000 and you cut it by $1 million.
Yeah.
But honestly, in Seattle, I don't think that $70,000 is that big of a salary. I mean, I from what I hear, it's expensive to live out there.
It is very expensive, and I would think when you know, we think about that in our terms, and then it sounds like, oh, this is great. But yeah, you head out there, and all the homes are millions, not hundreds of thousands, and yeah, a whole different ballgame.
I still think it's pretty selfless that he did something like this, because you know, a lot of times people feel overworked, underpaid, and not valued. So for him bringing himself down to, you know, their level kind of makes them just feel more like a valued part of the team.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, I took the negative approach initially, but yes, I agree with you. But yes, it's impressive that he was able to cut his salary from more than $1 million down to $70,000.
Okay, so if I'll be the cynic, I'll join you for just a second, okay. Chad. Then if he sold his second house, that was probably like a $3 million home.
Right.
So he's okay. He's doing just
He's doing some great work.
Yep.
Well, in some other news, Cone Health is opening a new medical fitness center to promote healthy living for anyone who wants to change their lifestyles. Sagewell Health and Fitness will be part of the Cone Health Med Center, Greensboro, scheduled to open in 2022. You can get a membership giving you access to exercise equipment, a walking track, group exercise activities, a pool, nutrition education, among other opportunities. Family, couple, and individual memberships will be available.
Round of applause. You guys are fantastic. How about that? You get a round of applause, and you get a round of applause. You get a round of applause. Everybody gets one. How do y'all feel about that?
I feel good, but what are we getting an applause
I know.
for?
I mean, this is a round of applause thing. Would you see it as an incentive to do something?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm milking.
Depends on what I'm doing.
My incentive is more like food, so food's on the other side of this, and I'll be encouraged.
You get some cake
or some money or something.
Yay! All right, we can kill a sound effect. All right, let's get to the stats so you know what I'm talking about here. We're talking about healthcare incentives. According to a new One Poll survey, 2 in 3 Americans say some sort of prize would be an incentive to strive for health and wellness. More than half want their reward for fitness goals in financial form. 17% said concert tickets would do the trick. 16% preferred a medal or a trophy. I'm guessing that's where the round of applause goes. And 2/3 of respondents said, you know what, I already reward myself. So that's my question. Do you reward yourself for health and fitness things? And then what do you do for that reward?
So
It's food.
I was actually planning to reward myself after work today with ice cream.
Okay,
See?
so it is a food reward.
Food rewards. My 2 cents is actually kind of about this. Food rewards, or maybe like getting my nails done or something like that.
Okay. And Chilton, you're a food reward all the way?
Well, so now I'm thinking about that. You know what I like? I like to go for rides and have that kind of that quiet alone time. So that's a reward for me. I love
Whoa.
that.
That's peaceful.
Listen to Monique, whoa. You have to remember, he did have 4 kids in the
I was
house at
gonna
one
say.
time, right?
Oh, yeah,
So like,
true,
okay,
true.
like a little alone time is
That's
not a
right.
bad thing.
It's exactly like money.
All right, this may be a folks reward here. Let's take a look at this. The vending machine. You know, it's a little cheat when you want to go to the vending machine. What do you pick when you go to the vending machine, friends? This is confession time.
Okay. Pop-Tarts
Pop-Tarts.
and Cheez-Its.
And Cheez-Its. Okay,
Yeah.
those are both good finds.
Blueberry Pop-Tarts if they're in there.
Okay.
So I'm not a sweets guy, but it's always the pack of like peanut butter crackers. That's one, and then I'll go with Cheez-Its also, Lauren. I love those.
Yeah, so good.
The vending machine here, I've taken all the Oreos, gonna be honest.
Right. Chad Silver just said he takes all the Skittles. That's what he likes.
What
and
about you?
I'm a peanut M&Ms girl.
Okay.
Or those little like Lorna Doone cookies, those
Yes,
butter
shortened
cookies.
bread.
Yeah, they get me every single time. I want you to check this out right here. Food options at work make a big difference in the healthy eating habits of employees. A new study by the University of Cambridge found workplace cafeterias that offered smaller portion sizes and replaced high-calorie food and drinks with low-calorie options led to workers making healthier food choices. Well, of course, because that's what their choice is, right? And workers ended up buying food, though, with 11.5% less calories. So I say, if work had like hummus and pretzels, or pieces of fruit in the vending machine, would you get it? Or are you still going for the Oreos?
Fruit.
Fruit, okay.
Yeah, I would get that. Yeah, because then I'd have a healthy choice. I think I would say I got to do this.
I might still go for the Oreos.
I know, right? Or
Yeah,
the
I mean, I have
Pop-Tarts, because
food
you're
at
not
home,
going to
so-
buy them at home. That's the
Yeah.
whole point of the
Yeah.
vending machine, is it's that little cheat that you're not going to have because you don't buy that stuff at home.
My last station had sandwiches in the vending machine.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, like chicken salad. I love that.
We don't even
And you
do
were
that
not
here.
scared of them.
I was, but I ate them anyway because I was
Okay.
starving.
It is all food for thoughts, friends. We're taking a break. We'll see you back in just a few minutes.
Mic check, Jay. Mic check, Jay.
We all know this, barbecue is a thing in our state. The bragging rights stretch from Murphy to Manteo, but our friends at Our State Magazine, they have a few ideas in their latest issue. So now there is many barbecue places in our state, probably as there are opinions, but they published a list in their September issue. This was pretty cool. They listed the top 3 categories here. They were classic, new favorites, and then they called one with a twist. So let's start with the classics. This year they picked Red Bridges Barbecue Lodge. This is in Shelby. They say it was the first barbecue joint in Cleveland County, opened in 1946, and to this day they still cook over hickory chips all night long. Next up is one near and dear to our hearts right here in the Triad. It's Speedy's in Lexington. We know that one. And you well know they specialize in pork shoulder meat that's dipped in a tomato-based sauce. And we see them at the barbecue festival all the time. And the last one was Bee's Barbecue in Greenville, North Carolina. This one has been an emblem of Eastern style barbecue since 1978. Now they listed some new favorites here. These, I had never heard of these, so they're brand new. Buxton Hall Barbecue in Asheville was on the list there. This unique restaurant's building was actually a roller rink from the 1930s. It's kind of cool. They serve a whole hog Eastern style cook. Next up was the Smokehouse at Steve's. That's in Graham, so a local one there. They boast an all local ingredient spin on their food, so much so they get their meat from the butcher shop that's actually attached to the dining room. That's how local they are. And finally, there's Southern Smoke in Garland, North Carolina. They say they have a unique blend of flavors unlike any other Q restaurants in the region. Now, this is on to the ones they called with a twist, so a little bit more on the unusual side. First was the Switzerland Cafe and General Store located off the Blue Ridge Parkway in the town of Switzerland, North Carolina. They serve hickory smoke blends hickory smoke barbecue that blends Eastern and Lexington styles together. Now we head down I-40 to Durham, and the restaurant's called Picnic. This restaurant does it differently because they smoke the whole hog instead of in something like a wood-fired oven. They do a double-walled steel pit there. And last but not least, I love this name, the Redneck Barbecue Lab in Benson, North Carolina, home of Mule Days. This restaurant boasts that they are competition-style barbecue, and Our State Magazine said this one is unlike any barbecue that you've ever tasted, but they didn't elaborate on what it does taste like, so that one I'd like to try.
They're trying to get you there to try it, right?
And it works.
And bring us some back.
I love all types of barbecue. I would say that East Carolina barbecue is my least favorite. I'm more of Western, but I love to try all the different kinds, and I do love that each region has their own style, or sometimes even each restaurant has their own style.
That's true. Lauren, have you tried much here lately?
I haven't tried much here lately, but I do like the barbecue. I'm more of I like a dry rub a little better than the sauce.
I like that.
Memphis.
I respect that.
Yeah, right? Memphis. So but I like that dry rub.
I don't eat pork.
I knew you was about to say that.
What about chicken?
Sorry, y'all. When I saw the pictures, I wanted to close my eyes.
You barbecue chicken, would you?
Yeah. The barbecue sauces, though, I do love dabbling in them with the chicken, but the pork, it's not for me. Sorry.
I know. Before Jalen says a word.
Hey, don't start with me, man.
St. Louis. Is that what you're gonna say?
Can't beat it, baby.
See, I knew it.
Can't beat it. But I'm gonna be honest, one that wasn't on the list that's one of my personal favorites is out in Greenville. It's Parker's Chicken and Barbecue. Ooh. They got great fried chicken, they got great barbecue sandwiches, great hush puppies. I do recommend.
Jalen, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't St. Louis do a lot of like beef ribs too, rather than pork?
We do
pork ribs?
We do pork ribs, we do burnt ends, which is like the end of the rib.
Yeah, burnt ends are good.
What else do we do? Rib tips. Anything. We're big on the pork out there.
Me
big
too.
on the
Some
holiday.
barbecue for dinner.
I knew a restaurant that I loved when I lived in Florida that they would take the rib meat out and put it in pita bread and have sandwiches.
That's not bad.
Killer.
That sounds amazing.
I know. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll go right back.
I love a good game of mini golf. Two 11-year-old boys from Minnesota love it so much, they built their own course. But it's not quite what you'd expect.
When a childhood friendship is this right,
got pressure.
a tennis ball and a garage door cord are all the inspiration one needs for a newly invented game.
They're kind of like two peas in a pod.
Just ask
Yeah.
the parents of Henrik Wikström and Hudson Bolin.
They get ideas and they run with them.
And not just ideas, born in garages.
They're always coming up with something.
Two 11-year-olds in the woods with a wheelbarrow.
It's so hard to maneuver.
What could possibly go right?
We were bored drinking Kool-Aid. And then Henrik said, why don't we make a mini golf course? Scorecard? You're gonna hit through it.
Henrik and Hudson started last summer
You're gonna get a 3.
with a single golf hole in the woods next to Hudson's house.
8 over par.
One became 2, then 3. Then the boys found themselves on a mission, designing and building holes till they reached their 9th. Cups missing from the kitchen, their moms know where to find them. Old piece of dryer vent?
Should I hit it hard? Yes.
Or a rusty roll
Okay. Hard as you can.
of chicken wire. Their wheels are already turning.
Yes.
Henrik could always say, can I go to Hudson's? Can I go to Hudson's? We got to work on the mini golf course.
Par for the course for two boys who at 4 met on the sidelines of their older sister's soccer games. A friendship cemented by Henrik's and Hudson's creative imaginations.
They don't like sitting and playing video games. They'd rather be outside doing something.
I'm gonna hit the thank you sign.
Earlier this summer, full circle,
No penalty, please.
when their mini golf course provided the entertainment for the grad party of Hudson's soccer-playing sister.
You got an eagle, I got a birdie.
Not a course for the easily frustrated.
Par 5, so.
He changed one hole. It was going to be a par 20.
Tough, yes, but disagreements?
Still ahead of me.
None they can think of.
We just changed the subject pretty much. Most of the time. Yeah. 3.
Hudson
Made it.
and Henrik
Nice shot.
didn't invent the game of mini golf,
You beat me.
but they did discover under nature's canopy mini golf's perfect boyhood version.
Winner takes the scorecard.
Alrighty then, so I wanted to give you one last look at the 7-day before we end out this 4 p.m. hour. You can see fall starting next week this time. Overall, the forecast still warm for this time of year. The average high is 81. Tomorrow is the only day with that number in the forecast. The weekend warming back up. Small chance of rain for the afternoon, both on Saturday and on Sunday.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Video games?
Mm-hmm.
And they have
Hello, this is Tim. We're doing a mic check for the 5 o'clock news.
Hi there, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado.
How did you guys not chit chat about mini golf? That was an awesome package.
We don't have one here.
Doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There I am. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. My story is on bus drivers. People don't want to drive a bus.
Oh, sorry. 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1.
I'm gonna have you stand.
It's time for my 2 cents. At the beginning of the year, I made my first vision board ever. I had many goals on the list, but the 3 big ones were eat healthier, continue to save, and make time for self-care. As the months fly by, I'm learning that it's okay to deviate from the plan a little bit. This past weekend, I participated in some retail therapy. It's been a while since I went out and bought something special for myself. I bought some candles, a couple dresses, and treated myself to a nice meal out. But when the day was over, I couldn't help but feel a little bit guilty. Spending money on non-essential items wasn't a part of the plan. But I'm learning it's okay to treat yourself. Research shows treating yourself or others can be great for your mental health, and essentially, it is a form of self-care. And it makes life more enjoyable. Give yourself some grace. If you're craving a slice of pie, or maybe you want to buy some tickets for your family to see that new movie that just hit theaters, go ahead and do it. Just make sure you do it in moderation. Goals are meant to motivate us, not deprive us. We all deserve a little treat every once in a while. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFNY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Less than a month after the new school year began, 2 Randolph County schools have switched to remote learning. A high number of COVID cases is to blame.
This time, the problem is with teachers and staff. WFNY News 2's Sydney Moore spoke with the superintendent about what's next.